Despite all the actual and perceived problems that Mullen Automotive has, one thing it can't be accused of being is dull. Hi again, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Sorry I've been away a little bit lately. I've been on my own strikingly different tour, and I'm just sort of in the process of moving houses at the moment. So it's been occupying a bit of time. Anyway, since my last update, Mullen has not taken their foot off the accelerator in terms of putting news out there with the all that's happening. Obviously, we've had information come out about the lawsuit that's being filed into manipulative trading. It's quite an interesting spectacle. We've also had confirmation that more stocks have been bought back, that over $5 million of the stock buyback has been executed so far. So it's interesting. There's a lot happening still. Like every day, there seems to be something new coming out. However, the stock price hasn't necessarily performed in line with how people would hope. The stock has kind of still slid down a little bit, although it seems to have been tapering off in terms of how far it's falling these days. The stock closed at 56 cents yesterday, and currently in the pre-market, we're looking at a modest rebound, which is kind of in line with what yesterday's aftermarket action did. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, how the stock reacts now. The fact that we've kind of bounced off this 55-cent price point a couple of times in recent history sort of obviously lends itself to being a bit of a point of low resistance. Now, hopefully we don't see the stock fall any further than that. The other day I I basically doubled the size of my position in Mullen Automotive, and my buy-in price was 58 cents per share. So even on that most recent, purchase of Mullen shares that I made, not a big one, but one I made, we have seen some decline. So, kind of the usual story, the usual experience. You can't own Mullen shares without seeing them, drop in value. And if you take my dollar cost average value of the position, it's actually a little bit smaller. Now, I just kind of had a couple of thoughts on the lawsuit that's going on. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be totally across every single detail of it, but I do wonder, like most legal cases get really drawn out. They can take a long time. So while, there might be a bit of excitement now that they've announced and that they're about to file or they might have actually already filed it now, this lawsuit officially, it sounds like it could be something that's quite hard to prove. Like, I'm not a legal expert on this, but they'll have to obviously try to find some sort of precedent for the types of actions they're accusing these brokerage firms of doing, and to show that yes, what they did do was illegal, because that's obviously how that they're going to actually win this case. And so not only do they have to prove the burden of proof is on Mullen Automotive and their legal team, it feels like they kind of have to show that this is what has happened is illegal. And you know what, in theory it does sound illegal, but it's interesting that the fact that this is being taken up by Mullen as makes it a civil case. It's not a criminal case. Now, if what was happening by these organizations truly was criminal, shouldn't there be a criminal proceeding to go along with it? This is my thinking. However, I do know that when you have a civil case, the burden of proof or the standard of proof that you have to achieve is a bit lower. So it is a bit easier to win a case in a civil matter as opposed to a criminal matter. You just have to look at the O.J. Simpson case as an example. I mean, they were just different realm of law. The burden of proof and the standard of proof is the same sort of principle applied there. But yeah, so anyway, I feel like it's going to be interesting to see what actually comes from all these, from this legal challenge. And I don't expect to see any sort of results anytime soon around the legal challenge, unless there's some decision by Mullen to actually quit the legal challenge. But if they're steadfast and they believe in the evidence that they've gathered, more power to them. Yeah, the other thing too is it's obviously going to be quite costly to Mullen Automotive to pursue a legal challenge. It's not a cheap thing to do. So you got to hope that this really is something that they're fair income about. This is something that they want to pursue, because it's going to be an erosion of shareholder funds in the meantime to fight the legal case. And they're already using shareholder funds to try and prop up the stock through a stock buyback. So it's a kind of doesn't give the best optics. It's almost like they're using shareholder money to manipulate the stock price via the stock buyback, but they're also using shareholder money to show that they are taking action against potential illegal trading in the stock. So yeah, it's an interesting case. So it's like, if Mullen's right in the legal case, that's great. That's kind of ideally what we want. But if they're wrong, or they don't win the legal case, it's going to be another like waste of shareholder funds. This is Mullen Automotive. It's owned by the shareholders, and it's a very high percentage of retail shareholders who own Mullen Automotive. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear what everyone's thinking about the legal case. Do you think, it's worth Mullen being the one who pursues the illegal trading in the stock? Do you think it should be taken up by a more in a criminal realm, or do you think that it's going to actually just be a waste of shareholder money? It's a bit of a smokescreen. I'd really like to hear what people think about this. I'm like kind of on the fence about it all at the moment, but I'm good for anything that's good for Mullen's share price. So if this is good for Mullen's share price in the long run, I'm all for it. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about the legal case and stock buyback and anything else that's happening with Mullen lately. Anyway, yeah, so share your thoughts down in the comments. If you like this kind of content where I just kind of freestyle and talk about Mullen Automotive, obviously I'm an expert in cars. That's why I film in my car. Consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, hopefully the market's trading in our favor. Cheers.